Hi everyone, welcome to week 9. So I hesitated. I thought about turning my camera off because, um, as you can tell, I look very tired, and but I thought I would not because I want you to know that, like you, I am a human too, and sometimes life gets the best of us, and sometimes we put in a lot of work and we get really tired. And so I am here, no eye makeup or none of that stuff, because we were so busy this week with BPA and Chrome in the Dome. And as a side note, thank you to all of you who helped with the Chrome in the Dome. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. For those of you who do know, thank you for all those of you who volunteered your time to help us run the doors at Chrome in the Dome and to help us run the merch table. We couldn't have done it without you, and those who are in BPA greatly appreciate you taking the time to help with that, because the little bit of money that we get donated to us from the Auto Body program for doing that goes to help send your fellow classmates to nationals competition in Nashville. So thank you from me, thank you from the rest of my colleagues, and thank you from the students who really appreciate those in BPA really appreciate you taking the time to support them and support each other. Really, it's a team effort. So this week we're going into week 9, which is crazy to say that, and we are going to pick up my needy wiener dog Gus. That is not what I was going to say next, but I couldn't help but stop the bark, and this little guy didn't see me all week, and I think he missed me more than my kids. So back to the um, back to what's happening this week. So this week we're moving on with week 9, and in week 9 we're covering module 7. So I like to call module 7 the junk drawer for Excel, and so you're going to cover a variety of different things. So the first thing you're going to learn about is how to create a template. So you can take any Excel file that you've created. Say you've got a design, or you've got multiple sheets that all look the same. You've got some colors applied, you've got a theme going that you really like and that you would use for other workbooks. This module is going to show you how to create a template, so then you're not recreating all of those, the colors and the design and things in another new workbook. And then you're going to learn how to import data. And there's different ways we can import things in data. If you get a message anytime in any importing in Excel, when we import data from Access, which is a Microsoft program, Access Database, your computer always treats Access like it has a virus. And so it will ask you, you'll get a pop-up that'll say, do you trust such and such file from Access? And you have to say yes. And the reason that it does that is that because a lot of times hackers will send viruses in Microsoft Access files. And so just be aware when you're working on this module and the next couple modules, anytime we do anything with Access, with any Access file, you're going to get that pop up. But what you're going to learn in this module is how to import data from a variety of different things. Then you're going to move into some of the more fun creative stuff and what we call smart art. So if you've ever seen an org chart, organizational chart, a bunch of little boxes, like the president, the vice president, and then you've got all the people under the managers and different things like that, you're going to learn how to do smart art. And that's those designing those boxes and things like that. Those things I'm kind of weird. I really like that design kind of stuff. And so as usual, you have your SAM training and exam. And just like last module, I know was a workout for the brain. Module 6 is probably the hardest module that we cover this entire semester, just because of the way you kind of have to change your mindset. And the instructions for Cengage are tricky, right, for module 6, because there were some ways they wrote the instructions that you could be confusing. And so, as I've mentioned before, it's okay to put the instructions into ChatGPT or Claude or whichever AI you prefer, and have that AI tell you, kind of help you pick it apart and help you understand it. Because I learned from having a meeting with Cengage at the end of last semester is that multiple people from multiple places help write the instructions. And so you might have somebody who's very detailed in writing instructions and somebody who's very vague. And that's just how they hire different people. And there's a certain standard that has to be met, but they don't go into quite the depth where their instructions have to be identically written. So I hope that makes sense. And so you're going to be working on all of that this week. So this week is much lighter than last week, much easier. If you have any questions, as usual, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And then your eBasket is so simple. It's going to be mind-blowing. And so what you're going to do is create a cover sheet. So a lot of times in Microsoft Excel, we have, I apologize because I'm in my view and not the student view. So it looks a little bit different on the screen. But a lot of times you will have a workbook. So Microsoft Excel workbook with multiple worksheets in it. And for example, you might have financials. So if you're taking Sarah's accounting class, or you would have a workbook, an Excel workbook with January through December financials. So like the monthly income statement or balance sheet. And so a lot of times accounting firms or accounting departments will add a sheet at the beginning that when you print it, if it's something that you print, a cover sheet, that it goes right on top of the pages or the worksheets that you print in the workbook. And so what you're going to do is create it, and this is what's going to throw you off a little bit, is that you're not doing anything super challenging in this, and you're doing something a little off the beaten path. And so you're going to create a cover sheet for a fictional Excel workbook for an ISU program. So it could be our business program. It could be a different program. It could be a club like the rodeo club. It could be whatever you want to do it for. It does not matter to me. I'm just looking for some things. You want to find the web page for the program on ISU's website. Take a screenshot. It's going to talk about that in this module. You're going to insert the screenshot into Excel. You're going to add some smart art. So a smart art list. It's a fancy way of making a list in Excel. You're going to apply ISU branding. So make sure it's in orange and black. And if you have any questions, you can go to the ISU's branding website, because we're a public agency. You can find anything. You can find our PowerPoint templates. You can find our letterhead templates. You can find the logos and download those. And there's a variety of things out there for you. And so what I've done is given you the site here. And then you're going to put your identification name, your name, and then the department name, and then the course information. And then you're going to adjust the page layout so it fits to one page. So the goal of this is to create a cover page that if we were to print a bunch of multiple sheets in a workbook, we want this cover page to come out on top, and on top of the print. And then you're going to save and submit. So let me show you what an example looks like. Okay, so here's eBasket 7 examples. I gave you 2, and let's look at one together. Bear with me as it downloads. Okay, so this student chose our accounting technology program within the business technology program, or this is the accounting degree path. Didn't matter to me what they did. They just had to do the thing. So header, they had to do a screenshot. That's a screenshot of some former students from a while back. And then this is their smart art that explains a little bit about the program. And then at the bottom, I changed this so you didn't see who it was. But this is awesome student, and this is the information, use of ISU logo, and the colors. Okay, so this is the only sheet in the Excel workbook. I didn't open the whole Excel file. I guess I could do that for you. Maybe. Let's download it. And let's take a look at it. So really, you're going to have one sheet in your workbook, but we're going to pretend this is a cover page for multiple other sheets. So we're pretending that this is some workbook our program uses for accounting. There would be other sheets, and this is the page it's going to print on the top. And so what they've done is they put everything that's in the instructions, and then they went to the page setup and changed it to one page, because if you go to print this, so if we say file print, this all should show up on one page. That's what you want it to do. A cover page should be one page, and it should run onto a second page. Cover pages are always fit to one page. And so make sure your cover page is in one page. And then I also put another example out there for you. You can check that out if you want. We won't cover that, but just know this assignment, for this e-basket this semester is, sorry, I need some more sleep. The e-basket for this module, e-basket 7, is very simple. Sometimes students think it's kind of silly, but there's a purpose. It's just to help you learn some of these junk drawer type of things. Not that I'm saying Excel is junk, but they're just kind of a miscellaneous hodgepodge of things that you're learning in this module. Some of those extra little features. Just to help you know how to create a cover page for an Excel file if you ever had a document that you were going to print. And so that's what's happening this week. Before I let you go, I want to show you one more thing. Next week is week 10, and next week is our next capstone project. So your capstone project for modules 4 through 7 is going to be all of week 10. So you have tons of time to get it done. You have, if you've noticed, you have until March 30th, because the next week after that is spring break. So what I've done is I've given you a whole extra week to do Excel exam 2, which is capstone project modules 4 through 7. So there will be a video next week. Keep your eyes open for that. But just know, once you get through this week, next week is the second exam, and if you get a 90% higher, you get a badge, and then we go into spring break. And so all I ask is that you don't procrastinate. So since you have 2 weeks to do the capstone project, if you reach out to me the last day of the 2 weeks for help, I'm not going to be very sympathetic to your plea or plight, because you've had 2 weeks to get it done. So make sure you get it done earlier. And also with spring break, I will not be answering a whole lot of emails, because that's my off time, like your off time. And so if you think you're going to have any questions, please reach out to me before we head into spring break if you have any questions about your capstone. But if you've done all the project ones, and if you're taking any kind of notes, just know the capstone project is going to be like all of the project ones that I make videos on. So for example, in module 6, where we have structured references, you will have some structured references in this capstone project. You just have to remember that you only create structured references in steps that talk about structured references. If the steps don't talk about a structured reference and they just give you a function to complete, and they don't talk about structured references, you're going to use the data that's in the normal range. So like B4 colon D25 without using structured reference. And just remember, structured references are just the names of the different columns and tables, and that's how we put that in. If you need a refresher on that, go back to module 6 and check out my video for project 1, and that'll help you figure that out. But that's what's happening this week and next week, and then we hit spring break, and then we come back, and then we only have, oh boy, about 5 more weeks after that, and the semester will be over. So, all right, that's all I have for you this week. Make sure you reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks to all of you who've given me a heads up, who've reached out, had questions. We walk through stuff. I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Sometimes that's the only way I find out there's might be an issue with the SAM exam or something like that, and I have to reach out to Cengage and fix it. So I appreciate your help and your time, and I hope you have a great week, and I hope you enjoy the sunshine, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.